What is up, Mouse fam? Welcome back to another video. With the news, the Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure are going to be opening on April 30th. It's time to rank all 6 domestic Disney theme parks. We're not going to be ranking the 2 water parks at Walt Disney World, but we will be ranking all 6 parks, the 2 at Disneyland Resort and the 4 at Walt Disney World. With that being said, let's jump into it. Coming in at number 6, Epcot. Now the Epcot stands are going to come for me on this one. I actually do love Epcot, and it's extremely close to number 5 for me on this list. The only reason it falls to number 6 right now is because of the stage that it's in. As of the filming of this video, almost half of Epcot is under construction. They are changing Future World into World Nature, World Celebration, and World Discovery. Until that transformation is done, Epcot really is just in shambles right now. Obviously, all the rides are still open, but the only great ride out of any of the rides in Future World is Spaceship Earth. Test Track has a lot of thrill, but it's a way worse version of a ride that already exists. Mission Space is just not a great thrill ride. Soarin's good, but it's a worse version of Soarin' over California. There's just a lot of Epcot that needs work, especially in Future World. Now, World Showcase is dang near perfect. If they do add a couple more countries, like Brazil has been the rumor, into the expansion plots, then Epcot will probably jump up at least one, if not a couple spots on this list. But right now, despite how amazingly perfect World Showcase is, Epcot just does not have a lot going for it, and I would not recommend new people visit that park. It's mainly a locals park right now. That brings us to number 5, Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now there is a case to be made that this park could be last on the list and Epcot will jump up, and that might be the case soon. A couple of years ago, this park was by far the worst domestic theme park. But with the expansion of Toy Story Land and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, it really has bumped this park up a lot. A lot of Disney World purists will be angry that the Great Movie Ride is gone, but honestly, I think Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is a perfect addition. It's a family ride, it's a much needed dark ride that was really needed at Hollywood Studios, and kids, they can go on Great Movie Ride, but it wasn't a big hit for families, mostly adults. But Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is a hit for all of them, and it incorporates new technology into the park. Obviously, Galaxy's Edge is amazing. Toy Story Land is amazing. There's 2 things that really hurt Hollywood Studios, and I'll start with the biggest one. The layout is awful. This probably has the worst layout of any big theme park that I've ever been to. Disney, Universal, Knott's Berry, or even a lot of the Six Flags parks. The layout of Hollywood Studios is awful and tiny. Even with Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land, which does add that circle to it, it's just a land of a lot of dead ends, and this was even worse a few years ago. That brings us into the second negative going against Hollywood Studios, and that is the lack of kid attractions. You have amazing headliners, Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, obviously both attractions at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Slinky Dog Dash at Toy Story Land. You do still have Star Tours and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. That's a list of amazing heavy-hitting headline attractions. Outside of that, it's really a lot of shows. You don't have those filler attractions that are super essential to a great theme park. Until Hollywood Studios gets those, and until they expand and really fix a lot of the dead zones in this park, it really is hindered. It kind of has hit its ceiling, Disney Hollywood Studios, whereas Epcot has a lot of room to grow, as do the rest of the parks on this list. Amazing headline attractions, bad park layout. That brings us to number 4 on the list, and the top 4 on this list I think are pretty dang near perfect parks. Hollywood Studios and Epcot have a lot of room to grow and a lot of things wrong about them. The top 4 on this list are all nearly perfect. Number 4, Disney's California Adventure. Now, there's a case to be made, in my opinion, for this to be the second best domestic Disney park, but I don't think it is quite yet. With Avengers Campus opening, which as of the filming of this video, none of us have seen, it is not open yet. It's supposed to open the summer of this year. But until that happens, you have a really bad dead end at the park with Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout and Hollywoodland. You have a really unfinished land in Hollywoodland. You have another very unfinished land with Paradise Gardens Park. Until they get these lands fixed, those parts really weigh the park down. Now on the bright side, you have one of the best lands in any Disney park in Cars Land. Cars Land is brilliant, probably the closest to a 1-to-1 replica that we will ever see in any theme park. It's fantastic, has an amazing e-ticket ride, 2 great anchor rides, great dining, great shopping. Cars Land is one of the best lands in any park. You do have Pixar Pier, which obviously has its flaws, but it's still an amazing park, especially at night. Great place to spend your time. You do have a Soarin' attraction. You obviously have Incredicoaster. And then you have Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, which in my opinion is 10 times better than the Tower of Terror that existed at California Adventure. It's not quite better than the Tower of Terror at Hollywood Studios, but it's close, and this was a very necessary fix, overlay that the parks needed. You also have one of the most fantastic entryways into any park in Buena Vista Street. This was a huge addition in 2012 that they gave Disney's California Adventure. Super needed. It's just honestly an amazing land. Now add Pacific Wharf, add the absolute beauty that is Grizzly Peak Airfield. That entire land is just gorgeous. One of the most naturally beautiful lands in any park. And you have an amazing, well-rounded park in Disney's California Adventure. That brings us into the top 3. Coming in at number 3, a controversial pick, Magic Kingdom. Now again, like I said, these top 4 parks are all fantastic parks. So number 3 is not a bad thing. Magic Kingdom is an amazing park. The most visited theme park in the world. And for good reason. The best thing Magic Kingdom has going for it is size. The layout of Magic Kingdom is amazing. You go into Fantasyland and you still have new Fantasyland to go back to, which then connects to Tomorrowland. Now, the sight lines between those two lands, that's another story. Really bad transition from New Fantasyland into Tomorrowland, but that's not the biggest deal in the world. Now, another amazing part about Magic Kingdom is how big Adventureland is. Adventureland in Disneyland is tiny, and Adventureland in Magic Kingdom is huge, and that's the best thing going for it. You have 2 different lands within Adventureland, and that really adds to it. You have a bunch of e-tickets. You have Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in New Fantasyland, which is a fantastic ride. You have great dining in Magic Kingdom Park, especially with Skipper's Canteen. Now, the problem with Magic Kingdom is a large part of it, especially Tomorrowland, is stuck in the 80s. Tomorrowland in Disneyland needs a redo badly. Tomorrowland in Magic Kingdom just needs an update badly. Space Mountain needs a retrack. All of the main strip as you walk into Tomorrowland needs a complete redo. But overall, Magic Kingdom, a fantastic park. It just needs some updates and a couple more e-ticket attractions. That brings us to number 2 on the list, Animal Kingdom Park. Animal Kingdom is the most beautiful theme park that exists in the world. I have never been to Tokyo Disney Sea, and I've heard that might be the one park to get its run for its money. So besides Tokyo Disney Sea, Animal Kingdom is easily the most beautiful theme park in the world. If you've been there, you already know the transitions between lands are flawless. The river running through the park is just incredible. The best thing about Animal Kingdom Park, too, is its e-tickets are not only incredible and thrilling, but they fit the exact mission of the entire theme park as well. Pandora, Flight of Passage, is a perfect ride, good for families, thrilling, immersive, and on top of that, it fits what the Animal Kingdom is going for. You have Expedition Everest, which is, in my opinion, the best ride at Walt Disney World, an incredible thrill ride with the best queue on property. The immersion of that ride is next level. It starts when you just walk in to Asia, and the farther you get into that land, you just see Everest looming. It is beautiful. The other thing about Animal Kingdom is that it is incredibly diverse. Whereas Hollywood Studios just has a bunch of headline hitters, and that's about it. Animal Kingdom has Kilimanjaro Safaris, which is a super unique ride. It has It's Tough to Be a Bug, which in my opinion is a lot better than people make it out to be. This is a great show for kids. Might be a little bit too scary for the younger kids, but a great show for kids, teens, and adults that fits perfectly into the land. You have all the incredible shows at Animal Kingdom that Hollywood Studios also has, but they just fit into this park better in terms of theme. You have incredible dining at Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom has fantastic food. The only park that beats Animal Kingdom in terms of dining is Epcot. Now, the one thing bringing Animal Kingdom down, there are actually 2 things that I'll talk about, but the one main thing is Dinoland. In my opinion, Dinoland is hideous. Dinosaur needs a refurb ASAP. Primeval Whirl and Triceratops Spin need to be torn down ASAP. I know that it's good to get those rides in to have kids be able to ride them and get more family attractions in the park, but that can be done with a different property, a different IP. I don't hate having IP in Animal Kingdom, especially if it's in that Dinoland area that's apart from the rest of the park. If you want to put in Jungle Book or something else there, that's fine. Just get Dinoland out of there. It's an ugly land. It does not fit the aesthetics of the rest of the park. It's just hideous. That, and the other thing bringing Animal Kingdom down is if you're a local or you're a regular visitor, the repeat visits might not be as good if you're not wanting to look at animals. For me, an out-of-state visitor, the repeat is great for me because I love looking at animals. If you're not into that as much, it can start to get closer to a half-day park, especially with no nighttime entertainment. But if you're a visitor or you love seeing animals, you love zoos, then Animal Kingdom is basically a perfect park in every way. That brings us to number 1, Obviously and clearly the best theme park in the United States, and I don't think there's an argument for this, Disneyland Park. I don't think there's a whole lot of negative qualities to Disneyland Park in general, whereas every other park has some negative qualities. Disneyland is a near perfect park. Obviously, it has the nostalgia that you get with it being Walt's original park. You have 6 or 7 huge e-ticket rides. You have an incredibly diverse lineup of rides between family rides, rides for teens, thrill rides that are mainly geared towards adults, kid rides that are great for literally 1 to 5-year-olds. If you have a baby and you go to a theme park, it's so tough to fill a full day. But at Fantasyland, at Disneyland, you can literally fill nearly a whole day with 15 plus attractions that are great for little kids. You have so many iconic landmarks inside Disneyland between Matterhorn, Splash Mountain, Thunder Mountain, obviously Cinderella's Castle. Now, obviously Cinderella's Castle and a lot of other parts of Disneyland are smaller than Sleeping Beauty Castle and some of its counterparts in Magic Kingdom. But honestly, besides that, that doesn't really matter to me. Disneyland has so much going for it and hardly any negatives. It is quite possibly the perfect theme park. All right, guys, that is our list today. I know this is going to cause a lot of controversy. Let me know down in the comments what you disagree with. Do you agree with any of the 1 through 6, or do you disagree with all of them? Let me know. Also, if you want to debate more, hit me up on Twitter at Ranking the Mouse. We have great discussions on there on theme parks, Universal, Disney, all that good stuff. You can also follow us on Instagram at Ranking the Mouse. Subscribe if you like the content down below, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.